Hello, and happiest days to each of you folks. So today we're taking a look at the second book in the Chronicles of Magnamund series. It's called Forge of Shadows. It was published in 2024. It's by H.L. Truslove. It's here. I'll link it to you in the comments below in case you're interested in checking it out. And doing all the good stuff too. Alright, so this is 250 sections like the previous one, whereas most of these are in the 350 section. It was a pretty fast read. In this, you're playing an inventor, a granddaughter of a famous adventurer, and that sort of a thing. And then you have fled because I think it might be because you're a woman. I don't know, but your powers and recognition have never been recognized. But you help out Lone Wolf set in his world too, and he's actually somebody that you're friends with, and that sort of a thing. And then you are heading to an area to deal with an invasion by a bad guy, and the local king is taking his army out. He's hidden his army in his castle, just letting him go out, take the land, and that's everything you feel is you need to step up and do some things. So you head to your grandsmith's workshop as an inventor, and you're going to grab his basically steam armor. It's basically a steampunk version of this. Get his armor up and running, and then and fly over with it and get this thing. Right, so it's basically steampunk Max, if you will, that had gotten added to Magnamund, and that sort of a thing. So I think so that's basically what's happening. Fight against the big bad in his army. So so the first part I read on Sunday night at about. I normally read from 6 to 8, but I got up a little late because I was feeling lazy, and I was like, I'm going to go ahead and read it. So I got up at 6:40 instead, and I read for an hour and 20 minutes. I created my character, and I just got out of his workshop, and I was about halfway done. Last night, I started a little early because I wanted to make up for that fact, and I actually got done way early. It was about another hour, 15 minutes. That sort of thing. So the workshop is only about halfway through. Again, like I mentioned earlier, this is a 250 section, and probably a 350 section one would have been a little longer. Probably would take another day or two. But you're going to pay probably voice because it's it's a big oversized thing. I'll link you to below in Magnamund stuff. So I do feel that because it's a little shorter, and so sections, and I don't think that steampunk works as well in the classic fantasy world. Lone Wolf is the previous one does. So which was a horror show set in a sanitarium. So, and the ending was okay. I thought it was fine. I wasn't going to the weeds or anything with it. Some only giving an answer, but some giving me this a 7. I'm pulling 1 point for the size, pulling and the cost, pulling 1 point for that, and the ending too. And the concept of steampunking in your favorite, everyone's favorite fantasy world. And so this is set again in Magnamund, as you tell from the title, Chronicles of Magnamund, which was created and popularized by Joe Dever decades ago in the 80s and so forth. It's a game book, so you play through it, you fight battles and that sort of thing. Now this character is not a fighter, or even a sage of Veretta, so you don't have many skills. You just have the stuff. You start with set stuff. Points 2, you have a combat skill of 15, pretty good. About middle, but you had the worst endurance. You start off with just 20 on that sort of a thing. So you also start off with a gear bow, like a crossbow that you can has a larger thing of gears and that sort of a thing. It's actually pretty strong. You actually don't get any minuses for firing a weapon, but you actually will if you use the dagger. So you have to keep track of your arrows. You also have some explosive arrows, shrapnel, scrap. You can start with and that sort of stuff, right? So it's good stuff. Mega lots. Right, it's nice and detailed. Roll a d10. Instead of rolling for your stats, you roll a d10 for combats. Also to resolve using stuff. That's a little less because you don't have any stats to add to it. But it does happen here and there. But typically you're only going to toss dice on your rolling battles. And that sort of a thing. So it feels good. Now again, it's not as epic, nor do I think the ending is as earned. That's fine. It's a 7 out of 10. For you folks, by H.L. Truslove. For you folks, 7 out of 10. Second book in the Chronicles of Magnamund series. Next, we'll finish up the third book. Each of these is with different characters and that sort of a thing, and they have different authors too. So these are different authors. Just taking the previous one, trying to start with somebody who had read a trilogy that I read last week. last year, rather. And I also knocked him out last week, too. So he's a good stuff. So he's a good guy to get this thing started with. But if you're here, so check it out. If you're interested, again, let me know your thoughts. Again, I'm not a trained, critic or anything like that. Or I didn't even study English, right? I was a political science major in college, and I've been working at college most of my life. So I'm not trained, right? So that means that your opinion will be just as valid as mine. I'm not coming from a place of, of expertise, right? So just let me know for those reasons. Also, so there you are. Just let me know. I try to do 3 of these reviews of older things a week. Although this one was just published last year, but you get the idea. Fantasy, science fiction, and horror that the channel covers for you folks. I've done lots of college stuff too. By Jared Never, I've done the 4-book series set in the post-apocalyptic world of of Texas, and the Road Warrior kind of inspired stuff. And then I've also done 20 books in his Lone Wolf series decades ago too. Heavily influential on us to do. So check this out too if you like that stuff. Right, so check out those older things. Definitely, if that's what I do too. In addition to some newer things like Video Game Wednesday for older stuff, Serial Saturday for the lost and forgotten storytelling genres, right, and that sort of stuff too. So check them out. And if those older reviews sound like your cup of tea, then great. Welcome to the channel. Have a seat. Kick your shoes off. I think you'll enjoy your time here. And while not here, go ahead and do all the YouTube stuff like the subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon, and be notified when I send videos, and share. But basically, just watch and share. Those are the key ways to grow this channel for you folks. All right, so there you go. As you can tell from the name, and also these older things too, they're getting reviewed. It's also the passion of the channel. So the name is The Worst Thing But New Books. That's a quote by a French philosopher named Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old stuff. And this definitely some older stuff we might have forgotten about. And our passion for the new stuff, right? We forgot about this stuff, right? It's heavily influential on our modern day stuff. And not that the new things are bad, they're not, right? But in passion for the new, we've sort of forgotten that they were inspired by the old and oftentimes the things that stick. So check them out. Also, my number one strength is context. I appreciate something more, the more I learn about it and that sort of stuff. And if you're like that too, you'll probably enjoy learning about it. So that's one of the reasons why I've done so many Joe Devers. In fact, Joe Devers' appendix N was in my personal appendix N of 10 most influential things in my life. All right, so there you go. Thanks again for your time. I appreciate that you took some time out of your day and invested it in this video, right? Because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're pulled in so many different directions, right? So that fact is very, very appreciative. It's very, very humbling. So I appreciate that again. Have a great day.